Okay, it's 2 o'clock. Let's call this meeting to order with a moment of silence. Thank you. First order of business to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Support. Motion made and seconded to approve the agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed. I think first thing, order of business was to set the wages for secondary road employees. Effective the 1st of July, they will no longer have a union contract because they are changing union representation. And union representation will be there sometime this summer, I think is what I gathered from Nick. Would that be correct? Or what's your timeline?
We could pick them up, right now if we want.
Yeah.
We just haven't made a decision on who's going. But
And so in the meantime, we need to approve what we had in the negotiations earlier this year. And so we can start the 1st of July with the correct wages in the record book. So, and that is what was 50 cents an hour. So do we make a motion to approve those wages?
It's 50 cents an hour for the union?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't have a problem
I'll make that motion.
doing that. I think it's roughly in line with what we've done with everybody else.
The other one's got 50 cents, I think. We approved that on Monday, so that sounds good.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the 50 cents an hour for secondary road employees. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
On just a question about that. On what was negotiated, he listed hydraulic excavator operator at 2110. Is that a change or what is that?
That is a change. That is a change.
That was something that was discussed and agreed to.
Yeah.
As part of the arbitration, prior union.
I think a dozer operator gets a little bit more maybe.
it equals everybody out.
It equals everybody out.
On the operating side.
Yeah. Because blade operators and dozer operator get a little bit more than your average, the guy that, the workers, I don't know what you call them.
Correct.
Truck drivers and that group. That'd be right? So,
So does that bring, I mean, we just approved a 50-cent raise. What's the, I don't understand what that was doing or was saying, or was that a separate proposal?
this one here,
I mean, what's the current rate at now for that position?
was that current rate, Dave, was he considered a truck driver before?
No.
Would that be
He's
correct?
not operating.
Just an operator?
Operator. Equipment operators would have been 2087, motor grader and finish were 2110. That was from last year of the agreement with the county head at SEIU.
This is the same as
And
what
the
the
employees.
motor graders were at last year.
Here's the contract from last year, the rates on them.
For the-
Yeah.
That would have been the schedule.
motor graders at 2110 last year. What was this? Is this just a new class then, Dave?
No, the excavator
Motor,
operators.
down below, motor graders and dozer operators.
It could be added as
But would this be a new class?
it could be added as a,
New one.
Yeah, that was
Find out
part of it,
later.
was going to be added as,
yeah.
on this, would have been included in the new weight scale that was agreed to,
Okay.
or tentatively agreed to, excuse me.
So do we need to approve that then? I mean, we haven't taken any action in regards to it.
It was part of what was, like I said, what was the tentative agreement with the union.
So what, so there's nobody in this, I'm confused. As you-
Yes, there are, but they
So
were
where
always
are
in
they at?
this.
Okay.
then they're gonna be put down here so that they would be the skilled operators.
They were at 2087 last year?
Yes.
That's this position?
Yeah, and they would have gone to the same as this position there.
So we're gonna increase this one now to 21.17. So that's a wage cut of 17 cents. I don't really
No,
understand.
they would have been, what was agreed to would have been added here at 21.10, so it would have.
And then would you have got another 50 cents with
Yeah,
whatever we
that
just
would have
did?
been.
So this will be 21.60 an hour
Correct.
for this.
That was what we had
Yeah.
with the arbitrator.
You want us to approve that hydraulic excavator operator? Get him,
I'd make that a recommendation, yes.
the others don't involve money, the other things that were in here, just this one.
Just the one.
I don't have a big issue with it. I'd make that motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to put the hydraulic excavator operator again as an operator at 21.20. All in favor, say aye.
Hold on, what was the amount?
Well, we're 21.20 plus then they get.
We're 21.10.
21.10.
21.10, I'm sorry.
So 21.60.
So now it'll be 21.60 after 1st of July.
Yep, just
Correct.
Yeah.
trying to clarify.
Sorry. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay. Anything else? You have a couple issues here.
Holiday.
Yeah, so if we didn't take any action, they would default to the handbook holidays, which would cut a day and a half. They'd lose the floating holidays and the birthday holiday. So if we want to keep them where they were, we can approve the previous holiday schedule, but I think in a sense of fairness, we need to think about what that means for everybody else, because, what did I list here? Right now, they get 11, and everybody else gets 9.5 holidays. So what I was thinking is go ahead and let them have their their previous holiday schedule, and then give everybody else all of Christmas Eve off. They get a half day now, and then give them maybe Martin Luther King Jr. Day, which we don't have as a county holiday, which is in the state, it is a holiday, in the city it's a holiday. And that would bring them up to 11, and then it would kind of be everybody's on the same footing, but that was just my proposal. I didn't know what you guys, if you had thoughts on that or not.
Well, I really am not in favor of that at this time, for a number of reasons. I don't think you can equalize the courthouse employees with secondary roads on some issues, but one thing you fail, maybe one thing is, working hours, courthouse works 7.5 hour day, they get an hour for lunch. Secondary roads works an 8 hour day, take a half hour for lunch. We're gonna equalize that out? Are we gonna start, there's just things that are different. And I think, in talking with Nick Batterson, if all we did today was approve these wages, and they get union representation in the next while, they would agree to the 3-year contract that we negotiated in March, which I think is huge. So if we sit here and start moving some of these things around, I think that the impression I get is then we'll scrap that and we'll start all over.
You guys are okay losing a day and a half of vacation? Seems unlikely. I didn't think so. That's what we're talking about here, is how do we, if we don't take any action, you fall under the handbook, which has 9 holidays, you lose your 2 working holidays, and you lose your birthday day off.
Yeah, but aren't you wanting to agree to what we have now?
Well, that's a bigger issue to me, is keeping that 3-year agreement. Tremendously big.
But you can't keep an agreement. There's nobody to bargain with. There's no,
There will be.
but there could be. I don't know, but there's nobody
There
now.
will be.
Well, I could be, but there's nobody now. We can't assume an election. We can't assume any of this. And so, as if we don't take any action, you lose those holidays because you fall under the handbook, like we talked about.
We go under the same
Everything is,
Hour
yep.
lunch and
You betcha, the whole works. And if we don't do anything else today, that's what happens. As of July 1st, you fall under the holiday, and we got to fix everything and make sure it all fits together. And so there's a lot of, I mean, there's some
that's for you guys
differences.
to decide now.
What's that?
That's for you guys to decide.
Yeah.
And one of the things about going to, if you did everything the same, our work relies on weather and conditions out there.
Absolutely.
If I lose an extra half hour during the day, that's more times we gotta come back and forth to the same job. I don't, with the courthouse, I have no say in that, but
Well, you still have the compensatory time program. It's all, I mean, that's all still in there.
Correct.
Like what we do with Ben too, because Ben has, he's seasonal, and so we have compensatory time for him to make it all work. And so, I mean, we have a program that's under our handbook too.
that is true as well. It will cost us more, but
How will it cost you
well,
more?
if you're paying for that extra half hour, if they're working after they would be working over that time.
30 hours a year.
Yeah, I mean,
That's the only thing I'm looking at from a budgetary standpoint, is to keep our same working schedule and maintain it. I know it puts us at odds with different departments, I think the courthouse is different than what we have.
But I don't think that you're trying to duplicate anything. What he's trying to do is equal it out. He's not trying to give courthouse employees 2 personal days and then their employee birthday. He's just trying to give them the same number of days off.
They've been getting an extra 10 hours a month for years off compared to what secondary roads has got, just by the virtue of an hour lunch. Long time, ever since I've been around here. I mean, in reality, that's what they get.
oh, yeah, we can make that whole, I mean, but this is in regards to the holidays and not the length of the day. I mean, if you have a proposal in regards to what to do there, I would like to see it, but I mean, I don't see that proposal.
I don't have a proposal, I'm just telling you how it is.
No, yeah, I don't
Okay.
disagree, but I mean, I'm taking one thing at a time that's different, and the next thing on the list is holidays. And so I don't know how else to do it. I mean, if you don't take any action, you're gonna cut these guys down to 9.5 holidays.
For 30 days, 60 days, or whatever, till you,
Be for a whole year, because it would only be negotiated until July 1.
So when you take our personal days, we get President's Day though.
Yeah, you get night,
15
yeah.
hours back.
And you lose your birthday and your 2 floating ones, and then you get President's
So
Day,
you're-
and then you get a half fee. What's that?
We're out a day and a half.
Yeah. So I'm trying to get something in place here where we can give those back to you, but it's being met with resistance.
I think that it makes sense to do it the way that this is proposed. It does make it a little bit more, as far as the holidays go, I think that it's more equitable for everybody in the courthouse. I personally think it's confusing for us to be open on Martin Luther King Jr. Birthday, or day, excuse me, and most other places are closed. They can't get to City Hall, can't get any of the state stuff, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and most places get Christmas Eve. I think it was always silly that we were open a half day anyway. And we've heard feedback from other people that they think it is inequitable how we treated these.
To keep our contract, or keep what their time screen and days off are the same.
Well, we're talking about just holidays that they
Or
get
holidays,
11.
excuse me.
Just holidays that they get
And
11.
Just
and
adjusting
They would-
the courthouse.
They would still get the 11 off and then
We would just add these to the other employees.
under the handbook.
Okay.
I'll make that motion that we grant secondary roads employees the holidays that they had under the previous agreement, and then amend the handbook to reflect a full day of holiday on Christmas Eve, and also grant Martin Luther King Jr. off.
Second.
You second that, Mark?
Yeah.
Yeah. Still opposed to it, but we'll take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. You have a number 3 down here.
Yeah, the other difference I saw was under the collective bargaining agreement, the secondary roads crews could take 2 of their banked sick days and use them as unpaid vacation. And if we didn't do anything, they would lose that benefit. So I don't know if we wanted to extend that to everybody or not.
Is that per year?
Yeah. Do you guys use that? Does that get used? It does? For the guys
The
that,
ones that got that.
they'll actually use it as days off instead of paying it out?
Some do, yeah. Not very often. More of just
Yeah.
paid. I don't know how many out there actually have that thing like that.
So do you have any thoughts on courthouse, if that's a big change for them or not? It could be 2 more days off for employees that have a lot banked.
Don't know of any major issues with it, but does, yes, give them 2 more days, possible. They choose that. which I
So
don't
just
think
give them a
they're-
choice of getting paid or taking them? They just get paid for it now?
If you have over 640 hours at the end of the year, anything over 640 sick time, you get paid for half of that. So they could choose, say they got 48 hours, they could choose to have 16 hours not paid for and use it and take it as time off.
So they get paid half of what they bank?
Half of over 640.
Yeah, it's the same as. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't have a problem extending it to all courthouse employees.
Just gives them an option to take some time off or take the pay, I guess. I'm okay with that. If we're already doing it out there, it makes sense.
I'll move to extend that benefit to all county employees under the handbook.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded to extend all employees to use up to 2 unsick days, which are entitled in excess of 80 sick days as paid time off. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, aye. Anything else?
So with the work day, are you guys okay going with the same work day you have now? And how that all shakes out or not? I mean,
As far as the hours.
yeah, the lunch and
We'll just take
everything.
an hour lunch day,
Well, I mean,
short hours.
you can't, that's what it would be if we don't do anything, or, but obviously, under the agreement, you weren't gonna get that.
The courthouse out on holidays with us, so. They get 130 hours a year. Basically, half hour paid.
Dave, do you see big issues with how that's gonna operate, or?
It shortens your afternoon work time because they're not starting till after, 5, so you only have a couple hours getting to them before they come back in. My personal preference would be to keep it added, get the half hour, go that way. But if you're going, like they brought up, you got a 30-some hour difference. That's what makes it different.
The handbook doesn't specifically address work days differently already, or?
Yeah, I think so. I think it does.
Yeah, so actually, you're already listed separately under the handbook, so. They're listed as a 1/2 unpaid lunch under the handbook right now, so they'll continue to operate like that.
Who's listed as half hour? Courthouse, all non-union?
No. It says normal work week is 40 hours, Monday through Friday. Included in the work schedule is a 1/2 hour unpaid lunch period. Clerical employees are normally scheduled 8.5 hours per day with a 1 hour unpaid lunch period.
That's listed under this secondary road employees. Anti-URM, review. So that was already taken care of.
Yeah.
Work day.
So I think as far as if you're a secondary roads employee, things didn't really change a whole lot from what was under the bargaining agreement to now, which I think was our goal.
The lunch and everything's gonna stay the same.
Yeah. That's what it was under the handbook already.
So what about that hours difference in the year compared to us? I mean, if you're trying to make things fair and equal, where are we gonna make up that 130 hours?
I don't know if it's something we can figure out today without fully thinking through it.
That's kind of why we had the holidays,
Mine don't add up to 130 hours.
2.5 hours a week, 15 weeks, 130 hours.
What you would have lost was only a day and a half. That's the only difference between.
I realize that. But now, what I'm saying is they got, courthouse got the same holiday calendar that we have now, basically. Plus they have that hour-long lunch. We have a half hour. So they have that much more. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, they benefited 12 hours per year
No, they benefited 2.5 hours a week, Mark.
from what we just changed.
Yes, from what you just changed.
And that was
We
the whole
just
goal
changed.
of the discussion, and what, it was to bring you guys to the same benefit you had under collective bargaining, which is what happened. It just was done, we just did that right now. You have the same benefits you got under your agreement. That was what the, our attorney advised us to do. And that was the discussion we had before, is to bring you to the, up to where you were. And that's what we did. I don't have anything else.
Motion adjourned.
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.